Today, we're going on a deep dive
Okay.
into the world of John Ruskin,
Okay.
a prominent figure from the Victorian era.
Yeah.
Now, he was deeply fascinated by art
Right.
and beauty, but what's really intriguing is how he connected those to emotional well-being,
Yeah.
which is a concept that really resonates even today.
Right.
So to get us started, can you tell us a bit more about Ruskin?
Well, Ruskin wasn't just, some art enthusiast.
Right.
He was a prominent art critic,
Mm.
a social thinker, and even a philanthropist.
Wow.
Yeah, he seemed to be really affected by the rapid changes
Yeah,
that were happening around him
of course.
during the Industrial Revolution.
Yeah.
And was concerned with the well-being of, everyday people,
Okay.
particularly the working class.
I see. So his work went beyond just these intellectual pursuits. He
No.
actively sought to make a difference in people's lives.
Yeah.
And a prime example of this is the founding of the St. George's Museum,
Mhm.
later known as the Ruskin Gallery in Sheffield in 1875.
Yeah.
So what exactly was he trying to achieve with this museum?
He firmly believed that everyone, regardless of their social standing,
Okay.
should have access to art, nature, and craftsmanship.
Interesting.
He saw beauty as a transformative force,
Mm-hmm.
especially for those living in the harsh industrial environment
Yeah,
of Sheffield at the time.
that makes sense.
So, imagine a working class individual
Yeah.
stepping into this museum and being exposed to this world of beauty
Right.
that they might never have encountered otherwise.
Yeah, that must have been quite a collection.
Yeah.
Do we know what kinds of things he included in the museum?
Well, it wasn't your typical art museum
Got
filled with just paintings and sculptures.
Right.
Ruskin's vision was much broader.
I
He
see.
included minerals, prints, manuscripts,
Wow.
and even everyday objects showcasing, skilled craftsmanship.
So it sounds like he was
Yeah.
curating an experience
Right.
rather than just displaying objects.
It makes me wonder, what was he going through personally
Yeah.
that led him to believe so strongly in the power of art and beauty?
Right. That's an interesting point.
Yeah.
It's important to remember that Ruskin himself
Okay.
faced significant personal challenges.
Okay.
He struggled with bouts of depression throughout his life.
Really?
Yeah. And later developed a relapsing encephalopathy.
Encephalopathy.
It's a brain disease that can cause, a range of symptoms,
Yeah.
including personality changes and cognitive decline.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So in a way, his advocacy for art and beauty wasn't just a philosophical stance.
Right.
It was deeply intertwined with his own search for solace and meaning
Mm-hmm.
in the face of these personal struggles.
Yeah.
Could we even say that art was a refuge for him?
I think that's a fair assessment.
Yeah.
For Ruskin, engaging with art and nature wasn't just a leisure activity. It was a way to cope,
Yeah.
to process intense emotions,
Yeah.
and to find a sense of peace.
Amidst, the turmoil of his own life
Right.
and the rapidly changing world around him.
Yeah, it must have been a very confusing and difficult time.
Definitely.
This brings us to a key aspect of Ruskin's philosophy.
Okay.
He believed in integrating hand, head, and heart
Yeah.
in artistic creation.
Right.
Now, for those unfamiliar with this idea,
Yeah.
could you elaborate on what he meant by this?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Imagine a recipe where each ingredient plays a crucial role
Okay.
in creating the final dish.
Right.
Ruskin believed that true art emerges
Okay.
from a similar blend of elements.
I like that.
The hand represents skilled craftsmanship,
Okay.
the technical mastery of the art form.
Right.
The head signifies intellectual understanding,
Mm.
the knowledge of art history, concepts, and techniques.
Okay.
But importantly, the heart represents emotional engagement.
Okay.
So for Ruskin,
Yeah.
it wasn't enough for art to simply be technically proficient
Right.
or intellectually stimulating. It needed to have soul,
Mm-hmm.
to convey genuine emotion
Yeah.
and to connect with the viewer on a deeper level.
I see. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I'm starting to see how this idea of integrating hand, head, and heart
Mhm.
connects with the concept of emotional intelligence, something we often talk about today.
Yeah.
It's about understanding and managing emotions,
Yes.
both our own and those of others.
Right.
So do you think Ruskin maybe might not have used that term emotional intelligence himself?
Right. He might not have.
But his philosophy seems to clearly foreshadow
Could finish
many of its key principles.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's fascinating.
He recognized that vital role that emotions play
Okay.
in both creating and appreciating art.
Right.
So when you create, you're channeling your own emotions into your work. And when you appreciate art,
Right.
you're engaging with the emotions the artist has conveyed.
That's a great point. I'm curious, how do Ruskin's ideas about art and emotional intelligence
Yeah.
differ from the prevailing views of his time? It was the Victorian era, known for its emphasis on reason and restraint.
Right.
Was he a bit of a rebel in that sense?
Absolutely.
Okay.
The Victorian era often emphasized, rationality and social decorum.
Yeah.
But Ruskin championed the importance of recognizing and expressing emotions, particularly through art. He saw this emotional engagement as crucial, not only for personal well-being, but also for societal progress.
It seems like he was advocating for a more holistic approach to life.
Definitely.
One that valued both the head and the heart.
Yeah.
And this resonates with our current understanding of emotional intelligence. So, do you think his personal struggles with mental health played a role in shaping these views?
Undoubtedly, his own experiences with depression and later with encephalopathy, which could have affected his mood and cognition, likely deepened his understanding of the human condition and the importance of emotional well-being.
Makes sense.
He knew firsthand how art could provide solace, a means of processing difficult emotions, and a path to finding meaning and beauty, even in the face of adversity.
It's remarkable to think that someone writing in the 19th century had such a forward-thinking perspective on the power of art and its connection to emotional well-being. It almost feels like he was ahead of his time.
He was in many ways a visionary.
Yeah.
And his legacy continues to inspire us today. I mean, think about the growing field of art therapy.
Oh, okay.
It uses creative expression as a tool to help people explore their emotions, cope with stress, and improve their mental health.
I see.
This is a direct reflection of Ruskin's belief in the therapeutic potential of art.
That's a great point. His ideas about integrating hand, head, and heart in art seem directly applicable to art therapy practices.
Precisely. Ruskin emphasized the importance of engaging with art on multiple levels. Technical, intellectual, and emotional. Which is exactly what art therapy encourages. It's not just about creating a perfect piece of art, but about using the creative process as a means of self-discovery, emotional expression, and personal growth.
So while Ruskin didn't use the term, his ideas were definitely laying the groundwork for what we now call emotional intelligence.
Without a doubt.
It's amazing how these ideas connect.
And it wasn't just about personal growth for Ruskin. He believed that a society that valued art, beauty, and emotional intelligence would be a more just and compassionate society.
So he saw a link between individual emotional well-being and a healthier society as a whole.
Ruskin was a staunch critic of the social ills of his time, particularly the dehumanizing effects of industrialization and the widening gap between the rich and the poor.
Of course.
He believed that art could play a vital role in bridging these divides and fostering empathy and understanding among people from all walks of life.
It's fascinating how he connected art not only to personal development, but also to social change and a more humane society.
Exactly.
He wasn't just an art critic. He was a social reformer who saw art as a powerful tool for positive change.
Exactly. And this is where his founding of the St. George's Museum comes full circle. It wasn't just about creating a space for people to admire beautiful objects. It was about providing them with a means to connect with their own emotions. Find inspiration and ultimately become more engaged and compassionate members of their community.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
Speaking of the St. George's Museum, is it still around today? Can people visit it and experience Ruskin's vision firsthand?
Unfortunately, the original St. George's Museum no longer exists.
Oh, okay.
But the good news is that Ruskin's collection found a new home at the Millennium Gallery in Sheffield.
Oh, okay.
They've done an incredible job of showcasing his vision.
That's great.
And exploring the intentions behind his collection.
So even though the original building is gone,
right,
his ideas are still very much alive and accessible to people today?
Absolutely. The Millennium Gallery actively encourages visitors to engage with art and nature in a way that echoes Ruskin's beliefs. They have exhibitions and programs that explore his ideas and their relevance to modern life.
It's encouraging to know that his work continues to inspire and impact people over a century later.
Right.
But I have to ask,
Yeah.
was his vision limited to Sheffield?
No.
Did he believe that these principles of art and emotional intelligence could have a broader impact beyond his local community?
Ruskin's vision definitely extended far beyond Sheffield.
Okay.
He saw art and beauty as universal languages, capable of bridging cultural divides and fostering understanding across borders.
Interesting.
He traveled extensively, studying art and architecture from different cultures and time periods.
Wow.
And he believed that everyone, regardless of their background, could benefit from engaging with art in a meaningful way.
So for him, art was more than just aesthetically pleasing objects.
Exactly.
It was a means of connecting with our shared humanity and fostering a sense of global community.
Precisely. And this idea feels particularly relevant today in our increasingly interconnected world.
Yeah.
We face so many global challenges that require empathy, understanding, and collaboration.
Of course.
And Ruskin reminds us that art can play a powerful role in cultivating these qualities.
It's inspiring to consider how Ruskin's ideas, rooted in the Victorian era, continue to offer valuable insights for navigating the complexities of our modern world. But for those who might not be art historians or avid museum goers, how can we apply his principles of art and emotional intelligence to our daily lives?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
And it's something we'll delve into further in the next part of our deep dive. We'll explore practical ways to integrate Ruskin's ideas into our own lives. Even if we don't consider ourselves artists or art enthusiasts.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
You mentioned practical applications of Ruskin's ideas.
Yeah.
What comes to mind? How can we, in our busy modern lives, incorporate these seemingly lofty concepts of art, beauty, and emotional intelligence into our daily routines?
One of the most accessible ways is to simply become more aware of beauty in your everyday life. It doesn't require a trip to a museum or anything. Take a moment to truly see the colors in a sunset. Appreciate the intricate patterns on a leaf, or listen deeply to a piece of music that moves you.
So it's about cultivating that sense of wonder and appreciation for the beauty that surrounds us, even in the mundane.
Yes, exactly. And beyond just, passive appreciation, think about exploring your own creative impulses. You don't need to be the next Picasso. It could be as simple as trying a new recipe, sketching in a notebook, writing down your thoughts, or tending a small garden.
So it's not about producing a masterpiece, but rather about engaging in the creative process itself.
Precisely. It's about connecting with that innate human desire to create, to express oneself. And as you do so, just notice how it makes you feel. What emotions come up. Are you surprised by what emerges?
It strikes me that this echoes Ruskin's own experience of using art to process his emotions, his struggle. He wasn't just advocating for art. He was living it as a means of self-discovery and emotional expression.
That's a great observation.
Thanks.
And it underscores a key point. Engaging with art in whatever form it takes for you can be a powerful tool for understanding and navigating your own emotional landscape.
Ruskin was also a fervent advocate for connecting with nature.
Oh, absolutely.
He saw it as essential for both physical and mental well-being. Does this tie into his philosophy of art and emotional intelligence?
Absolutely. For Ruskin, nature was the ultimate source of beauty and inspiration. He encouraged people to spend time in nature, to observe its intricate details, and to allow its tranquility to soothe the soul.
So it's not just about art in the traditional sense, but about expanding our understanding of beauty to encompass the natural world as well.
And in doing so, we cultivate that essential element of emotional intelligence, awareness. Awareness of our surroundings. Awareness of our own inner state. And awareness of the interconnectedness of all things.
That's a beautiful thought.
Thanks.
It seems like Ruskin was offering not just an aesthetic philosophy, but a way of life. A path to a more mindful, compassionate, and fulfilling existence. It's inspiring to see how his ideas, rooted in the 19th century, continue to hold relevance in our fast-paced, technology-driven world.
I agree.
It's been a fascinating deep dive into the life and legacy of John Ruskin.
Yeah, is that right?
We've explored his work, his struggles, and his profound insights into the human condition.
Right.
As we wrap up, what are some key takeaways you'd like to leave our listeners with?
Well, I think the most important takeaway is that we all have the capacity for emotional intelligence and resilience. It's not an exclusive trait reserved for artists or intellectuals. By engaging with art, beauty, and nature, we can cultivate these qualities within ourselves.
That makes sense.
And as we do so, we contribute to a more beautiful and compassionate world.
Beautifully said.
Thank you.
I hope our listeners feel inspired to explore Ruskin's ideas further. And to discover the transformative power of art and beauty in their own lives.
Right.
We'll be sure to include some resources in the show notes for those eager to delve deeper.
And remember, engaging with art isn't just about passive consumption. It's about active participation. About finding your own unique ways to express yourself creatively. Whether it's through painting, writing, gardening, or simply appreciating the beauty that surrounds you.
This deep dive has been a reminder that art is not a luxury.
Right.
It's a necessity.
It is.
It's a vital part of what makes us human.
Absolutely.
So keep exploring, keep creating, and keep connecting with the beauty that's all around you.
That's a great way to put it.
Until next time.
Okay.
So you mentioned practical applications of Ruskin's ideas. What comes to mind? How can we, in our busy modern lives, incorporate these seemingly lofty concepts of art, beauty, and emotional intelligence?
Well, one of the most accessible ways is to simply become more aware of beauty in your everyday life. It doesn't require, like, a trip to a museum. Take a moment to really see the colors in a sunset. Or appreciate the intricate patterns on a leaf. Or listen deeply to a piece of music that moves you.
So it's about cultivating that sense of wonder and appreciation for the beauty that surrounds us, even in the mundane.
Yes, exactly.
And beyond just passive appreciation. Think about exploring your own creative impulses. You don't need to be the next Picasso.
Right, exactly.
It could be as simple as trying a new recipe, sketching in a notebook, writing down your thoughts, or tending a small garden.
Exactly.
So it's not about producing a masterpiece, but rather about engaging in the creative process itself.
Precisely.
It's about connecting with that innate human desire to create, to express oneself. And as you do so, notice how it makes you feel.
What emotions come up?
What emotions come up?
Are you surprised by what emerges?
It strikes me that this echoes Ruskin's own experience of using art to process his emotions, his struggles. He wasn't just advocating for art. He was living it as a means of self-discovery and emotional expression.
That's a great observation.
And it underscores a key point. Engaging with art, in whatever form it takes for you, can be a powerful tool for understanding and navigating your own emotional landscape.
Absolutely.
Ruskin was also a fervent advocate for connecting with nature.
Oh, absolutely.
He saw it as essential.
For both physical and mental well-being. Does this tie into his philosophy of art and emotional intelligence?
Absolutely.
For Ruskin, nature was the ultimate source of beauty and inspiration.
He encouraged people to spend time in nature, to observe its intricate detail, and to allow its tranquility to soothe the soul.
So it's not just about art in the traditional sense, but about expanding our understanding of beauty.
Exactly.
To encompass the natural world as well.
And in doing so, we cultivate that essential element of emotional intelligence, awareness. Awareness of our surroundings, awareness of our own inner state, and awareness of the interconnectedness of all things.
That's a beautiful thought.
Thank you.
It seems like Ruskin was offering not just an aesthetic philosophy, but a way of life, a path to a more mindful, compassionate, and fulfilling existence.
It's inspiring to see how his ideas,
rooted in the 19th century, continue to hold relevance in our fast-paced, technology-driven world.
I agree. It's been a fascinating deep dive.
It has.
Into the life and legacy of John Ruskin. We've explored his work, his struggles, and his profound insights into the human condition.
Absolutely.
As we wrap up, what are some key takeaways you'd like to leave our listeners with?
Well, I think the most important takeaway is that we all have the capacity for emotional intelligence and resilience. It's not an exclusive trait reserved for artists or intellectuals.
Right.
By engaging with art, beauty, and nature, we can cultivate these qualities within ourselves.
That makes sense.
And as we do so, we contribute to a more beautiful and compassionate world.
Beautifully said.
Thank you.
I hope our listeners feel inspired to explore Ruskin's ideas further.
Yeah, me too.
And to discover the transformative power of art and beauty in their own lives. We'll be sure to include some resources in the show notes for those eager to delve deeper.
Awesome.
And remember, engaging with art isn't just about passive consumption.
Right.
It's about active participation.
Exactly.
About finding your own unique ways to express yourself creatively, whether it's through painting, writing, gardening, or simply appreciating the beauty that surrounds you.
Absolutely.
This deep dive has been a reminder that art is not a luxury.
Right.
It's a necessity.
It is.
It's a vital part of what makes us human.
I completely agree.
So keep exploring, keep creating, and keep connecting with the beauty that's all around you.
That's a great way to put it.
Until next time.
Sounds good.